I'm Judea Murray, and here on a positive note, we highlight the most heartwarming stories from all around our tri-state that move and inspire us. And this time last year, things were so different. I shared with you all a story about a Long Island woman forced to give an early birth because she was on a ventilator with COVID-19. Well, today, a whole year later, everyone is breathing a little easier.
As COVID claimed countless lives, and medical staff at South Shore University Hospital in Bayshore fought to save those struggling to live, a miracle. 1 year ago, baby Walter was born. It was an emergency C-section. His mother, Yanira, had COVID and was on a ventilator fighting for her life.
The one day I took care of her, she died almost 2 times on me that day. And I remember whispering in her ear that she couldn't die because she had a baby at home that she had to get to.
Yanira pulled through, and 11 days later, she was holding her newborn baby boy in her arms.
For some reason in that room, she just fought and fought. She was sedated and paralyzed, and she just fought so hard. I think innately, she knew that her baby was somewhere else and not in her.
And now, a year later, a celebration of life.
Happy birthday, dear Walter. Happy birthday to you.
All I asked for was for you guys to save my son, but you guys also saved me.
I'm so glad, I can be able to be a part of the happiness here. Oh my God, so cute.
Yay! It gives me full circle of why I do what I do every day, and I love it. So happy birthday.
I'm so thankful for everything that you guys all did.
We've also got eyes on another happy reunion on the island. Imagine growing up knowing that something, or rather someone, is missing from your life, and then one day, there it is, in the form of a little brother you never knew you had. That's the story of these long-lost siblings who finally found each other. Let's take a look.
For decades, Monica Schuss and her brother, John Tominelli, never got to do this.
We fight, we have to.
That's because each were adopted at birth to different families. Monica, the eldest, grew up in New York City. John, 7 years younger, grew up in Central Islip. Each knew they were adopted, but didn't know they had a sibling.
You just wondered, wondered if somebody was out there. You just had no way of knowing or finding out.
But after each filled out a request with a state agency in Albany, 27 years later, they got their answer and a name. They decided to meet at a restaurant, and the sibling chemistry was instant.
Her car pulled in, and she pulled up right next to me, and I was looking at her through the window. She was looking at me. We both had smiles. We got out of the car. We hugged immediately.
It was like we were meant to be. It was like we knew each other, even though we didn't.
The pair quickly tried to make up time and moved in together during the pandemic. Then they found out they have the same birthday. Both lost their adopted mother and got divorced in the same year.
It was so strange that our lives had paralleled one another.
The two say they want to get involved in helping more adopted siblings reunite the same way that they did. Now onto a group that's little in size, but humongous in impact.
It started out that way because during quarantine, we got really, really close with all our neighbors. All the neighbors really chipped in and helped one another.
They were suffering from the pandemic. They lost their jobs.
And a lot of stores are closing down.
Do you think that people need help?
Yeah, a lot felt because COVID and this pandemic.
What did you say to your neighbors when you walked up to the door?
We said, do you have food for the first street crew?
We sent out flyers.
What did the flyers say?
And it said baby bars, granola bars, something. And then it said mashed potatoes. Soup, baby food, canned meat. What's canned meat?
What did you do with all the food?
We donated to a local food pantry.
Fourth Street Crew, Fourth Street Crew.
So that's what you would do? You would ring the bells and the whole neighborhood would know you were coming?
We had 3 trunkloads of food.
Pretty much every
3 trunkloads?
It makes me feel happy to see stuff like that and help around the neighborhood.
It makes me feel happy because everybody's getting the food and no one is starving.
What do you think would happen if everyone kind of just chipped in and did things like you guys did? What would that do to the world?
Help it, make it a better place.
That's what makes it really special. And we got a special block here.
And then also, you know, teaching your kids what's good.
Yeah, they're good kids.
We helped out a lot of families and stuff.
You sure did.
It's a blessing to be in a position to help others right now. As many Americans can attest to, there was a point in time where the light at the end of the tunnel wasn't so clear. That's actually the case for this man from Westchester. Not too long ago, he was celebrating surviving, and now the Spring Valley man is thriving with a new business venture that looks promising.
Hot off the press, a new clothing line created by this Spring Valley man.
It's very busy, I must say it's very busy.
Joel Guerrier launched his line, Guerrier Apparel, last fall, a business born out of his time in quarantine as he recovered from COVID-19.
I did feel like I was going through depression at one point, but it was like I was looking for motivation in every way possible, you know what I mean? And I wasn't even watching TV at the time. Social media was driving me crazy.
That's when he decided to use his 4 weeks of isolation to check business owner off his bucket list.
I always wanted to shine light on what my name meant and what it meant to me.
Guerrier means warrior, certainly fitting in more ways than one for this teacher by day, now turned entrepreneur by night. The products, which vary from hats and masks to sweaters and bags, are purchased and printed locally inside the Palisades Mall. In the 6 months since launching the clothing line, it pulled in over $15,000 in profit.
It's a situation where I didn't really plan this. I was in the moment and I always thought about doing it and I just picked up the ball and ran with it.
Guerrier is also a dad, building the business with his kids.
I feel very special and I like it.
Yeah, is it something you think you want to continue with your dad?
Yeah.
While teaching us all a priceless lesson that you're never too old to achieve your dreams.
It's around the clock, but hey, it keeps me busy. Thank you so much, my brother.
Another dad in Westchester is on the go, so close to logging 1,000 miles since the beginning of the pandemic last year.
Go, baby, go!
Cheering Zachary Peterson on is his lovely wife. This 33-year-old has been running just about 3 miles every day since his gym shut down due to COVID last year. Whether it's 0 or 100 degrees, it doesn't matter. He's getting his miles in and he lost 20 pounds doing it. But there is one thing that's slowing him down.
We are expecting our first child in a little under 8 weeks, so I think my wife is going to make me pump the brakes for a couple of days. You know, I don't think she wants me running laps in the hospital parking lot. I think I'd catch a flack for that.
But as soon as the coast is clear, Peterson says their little tyke is coming with him. He put a jogger stroller on the registry and can't wait to get his wife and baby girl involved. Now, if you're feeling inspired by Zachary's gains, have I got the perfect challenge for you? It's called the Empire State Trail Challenge. The famous Utica, New York Boilermaker race partnered up with the Empire State Trail for a virtual challenge that'll get your heart rate pumping. There are 3 legs to choose from. If you do them all, it adds up to 750 miles. Over the span of 4 months, participants will be logging the distance they cover in real life online. Doesn't matter if you run, walk, or cycle it. Now, every time you hit a milestone, your progress will show on the virtual leaderboard. Look up the Empire State Challenge for information on how you can participate. Now, I have an exciting update about a Wilton High School counselor who's known and loved all around his community. Last month, News 12 Connecticut reported that he was in need of a kidney. Some of his students put together a heartfelt video for him that gained the right attention. By the end of the month, our reporter was meeting up with his donor.
Call it the power of social media and the persistence of a tight-knit community. This video from students Eli Ackerman, Jake Arnowitz, and Tyler Casey quickly made the rounds in late December.
It was really amazing. The views just kept piling up.
A few days in, the kidney campaign for Daniel Pompa landed in front of Wilton dad David Cody.
I knew of Mr. Pompa, met him a couple of times, parked our Jeeps next to each other in the parking lot here, and had heard nothing but wonderful things about him.
Even without a personal relationship, Cody didn't hesitate to contact the transplant team at Yale New Haven Hospital. After weeks of screenings and tests, Cody found out he was a match.
There really wasn't a thought process. It was, he needs a kidney, I've got 2, he only needs 1.
Cody decided the kids should be the one to share the news with Pampa since their video made this happen.
When we were able to tell him, we set up a trivia game, a little 20 questions game where we had Mr. Pampa guess who the donor was. And finally, we revealed the donor over Zoom.
Hey, Mr. Pampa, it's David Cody.
Pampa developed kidney problems after an infection from surgery in 1995.
I can't believe that after a 20-year journey dealing with my kidney that it may actually come to an end.
Over time, his kidneys worsened. In 2019, doctors told him a transplant was the only option.
They had told me that when I was put on the list that it could take up to 6 years. They told me I wouldn't make 6 years. So the fact that the video gave me this time, that's just amazing.
The most heartwarming part of it all, though, it turns out that both Pampa and Cody are bikers, and they're planning to ride together as soon as they've both healed up.